Hello everyone, welcome to another testing review, and this week we are looking at the final test of 2021, and we have a number of bikes that have radically changed and some that haven't. So as you can see on screen, we have Suzuki. So Suzuki haven't really brought anything to the ref test that's eye-catchingly different. We understand that everything is mostly internal, and as you can see, little changes like chassis, and what we see here is something that Joan Mir ran at the Misano test and ran kind of a hybrid mix throughout the end of 2021. So we assume that this is a 2022 base chassis, and it will be looked at further for tests at Sepang and Mandalika, and of course Qatar. So we'll just have to wait and see what it's like for when we actually get into 2022, but it looks similar to what they ran at the end of 2021. So yeah, nothing really new for Suzuki. And as we move on to the next one, we have Aprilia. So as you can see, Aprilia are looking pretty much the same, only I've noticed a slight difference with the rear exhaust. It is like a slice cut, like the one they have on the side. They run pretty much an exhaust like everyone, or it was not really sliced at the back, but this one is a slice cut exhaust. So yeah, that's the only differences that I can see with the Aprilia. Obviously they aren't really worrying too much because they still have concessions, so they can still develop well into 2022 with their machine. But moving on to the next team, we have KTM. Now, a different aero package I noticed straight away on the KTM, and it looks different. It's kind of got that Aprilia feel to it. It's also got a double intake, as you can see here, and yeah, they're running the winglets that kind of look like Aprilia / Honda on their first variation of 2021. A little side winglets, as you can see here. So a different approach for Aprilia, KTM, as they look to sort out really the issues of grip that's really hampered them throughout 2021. And I think that we won't really know until we get to the tracks where they struggled. So the back end of 2021 was a real test for them with grip, and whenever they put hard tires on, it just didn't work. Brad Binder kind of got around the issues, but Miguel Oliveira struggled a lot. So it'll just be interesting to see how this changes, compared to 2021, and if the changes that they've brought will make any difference. Then we move on to Ducati. So it is something that everyone has talked about. I believe Jack Miller has called the exhaust a didgeridoo. And yeah, as you can see here, it's down this side, and it's quite big. It's fairly different to what they've been running, and I think Ducati are in a really good position with the aero package that they've also brought. We also mentioned, if you look at our previous videos for the Misano test earlier in 2021, it brought the smaller sort of Panigale S-sized front fairing, and it looks really nice. It looks really aggressive for like the size. It makes Pecco Bagnaia look like he's huge on that bike, and I like it. I think it's something that they've obviously tested with Michele Pirro, and it's something that the riders like, because a number of their riders have been running it indeed. So Ducati are obviously, I think, the best bike on the grid, and they're just refining things now for 2022, which will give them a good head start on everybody. But as you can see, Honda, a very different looking bike. We talked about it loads for when they tested it first at Misano, and as you can see here, we've got little upgrades. So new winglets. There's a lot of different winglets tested, and this is the one that Pol Espargaro seemed to run mostly on day 2. It's got these sort of slash cuts through the middle of them, and they're almost like a hybrid of what they ran in 2021. So they started the season off with 2, so they had, say, one here and then one here, and then they ran like a top base, like a bigger one like that. But when it came to Sachsenring, they ran just the basketball hoops that ran just like that. And Marc Marquez obviously liked it, and the rest of the Honda riders followed suit. But this bike looks different. The aero intakes are different. It's completely different. Like we always mentioned, the rear exhaust is off to the right now, so it's offset, and some positive noises coming out of Honda. But the opposite for Yamaha. Fabio Quartararo has been not bad-mouthing Yamaha in the sense he's been quite sort of not disappointed. It's a really hard one. He says the bike doesn't have any changes really. It's pretty much the same that they've ran through the end of the year, and he's hoping that there's going to be changes for Malaysia. New things on this bike. I noticed just from the side you can see the carbon, and this is what they've ran and tested. But just new aero intakes for the side, and just the way it looks around the chassis, it's just a bit different. The front end's pretty much the same winglets, same aero intake, just a bit more curved here for a bit more aerodynamic speed, you know, punch through the air quicker. And maybe a new seat unit, it looks a bit more different for Fabio. I haven't noticed him running this, so maybe a new seat position for him, and little carbon bits on the side. So Yamaha really are going to focus on this bit, the engine, the thing we can't see. They want more power, of course, and the riders want more power. Will they get it? I don't know. It's really difficult. You know, if Yamaha are going to change their priorities with what they have with their bike, you know, the DNA of that machine. So I'm really interested in knowing if they're going to bring anything different for 2022 when we do the testing at Mandalika and Malaysia. And here's just some other pictures of that Ducati. It's quite long, that exhaust, and yeah, here's the fairing. It's quite small when you look at it, and compared to what they've had, it is different, but it's also quite nice to see. And there's the front end of the Honda Polispagro. It's also got that new updated fairing, and here's the rear end as well. So yeah, I look at this. I'm a real fan of welding on exhausts, and look how stunning this is. Like, oh, it's a piece of art. And MotoGP bikes are just pinnacle for technology, and I love just how it looks. And there's the Honda from side on. It looks different. It's quite, I'd said it's smaller from the Misano test, and when you see the 2021 bike, it's completely different, and they've got a little bits of aero added over the rear tire on the fender. Just little things, you know, things you wouldn't notice at a glance, but it's quite nice to see Honda bring so many changes and a radical style for their bike to suit all their riders. So yeah, that's pretty much it, folks. There's not really more that I can analyze. I'm not an expert at all, and yeah, I'm just really talking about what I can see. So, and if you like this video, make sure to subscribe to Crash MotoGP for more content. And until next time, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.